Mix Minus, what is it? Analog mixers, digital mixers, echoes, feedback, Skype Mix Minus. Have you ever wondered how to set it up on an analog mixing console? Stay tuned and let's learn about Mix Minus analog style. Hello everyone, it's Vance Willis with TechAgg.com and also with the TTFN.TV network. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about Mix Minus and how we use Mix Minus with Skype call-in guests and some of the challenges that it offers. Now today I'll be talking about the analog setup and how it works on analog mixers, but we also have the ability to do it in our studios. We use digital mixers, so we can go over that at a later date. So what we'd like to take a look at today is I have an Allen and Heath ZED14 mixer. This particular mixer has 6 monaural inputs that are obviously on each bus row, 6, and then it has a few stereos as well. We won't worry about the stereo today, just the monaural. On input number 1, which is on the far left, we have adapted the 1/4-inch input on number 1 to a 3.5 millimeter connector that will connect into the computer. And then also on the auxiliary out, we have also adapted that to a 3.5. This happens to be monaural, going back into the microphone input of the computer. Now, that is done on the auxiliary 1. So this is auxiliary 1 out. This is some outputs that are auxiliary, and this is the input for number 1. Now, the center row, which, let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit on this for you. The center row of this mixer has a control section that controls the auxes. And it's this center part here. Now, if you'll notice down at the bottom, the first 4 inputs on the slider are all set to 0 dB. That's just as an example. And each one of these obviously controls what happens in each one of the inputs, 1 through 4 in this situation. Let's see if I can get just a little bit further in on this for you. So, if we take a look at aux 1, we'll notice that this potentiometer is turned to 0. Now, on the second input row, this one is turned up, and the third and the fourth, and so on. So across here, going out of the auxiliary 1, which is in the top right corner of the mixer, aux 1 is turned up for channel 2, 3, 4, etc., but on 1 it's turned to 0. Now, if we go diagonally down, we'll notice that the second row on the mixer has auxiliary 2 turned down, but everything else is turned up all the way across the board, including back to number 1. Diagonally down, the same thing on 3. 3 is turned down to 0, but all of the rest of them are turned up. And sorry, that one right there is actually not. That's on number 5, so that's irrelevant. But as we go down diagonally, we see that each channel has its own aux turned to 0, and the rest are turned up. That will allow for each channel 1 will receive all of the volume of all the other channels on the mixer to be up except for its own. So in a Skype situation, you will not receive feedback on this channel sending back to aux 1. So your Skype caller, which is going to be plugged into the auxiliary 1 output, does not get the feedback of himself. However, he or she hears everything else coming out of the board. So that's how it's set up. So each one is turned to 0, and all of the rest of them are turned up, thus minusing the mix for that particular channel. So hopefully that's been some help for you. We will do future episodes showing how we do it on digital mixers. It's a little different, same concept, but that is how it's done on the analog mixer. So this has been Vance Willis, TechAgg.com, and the TTFN.TV network. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will talk soon.